Welcome to Real Estate Pro Tips and Strategies. The theme is how to buy a home or sell a home in a changing real estate market. Hi, my name is Pete Sabine, and I'm here with my team partner, Leslie Whitney. We are real estate professionals with Compass and the 5-star real estate team here in the San Francisco Bay Area. We want to share with you our real estate expertise to give you a competitive edge and provide insight with useful information so you can make an informed decision for your next home purchase. Leslie and I break down the most important aspects of real estate. Future podcasts will reveal how to navigate as a home buyer or seller. Let's begin our podcast.
Welcome to this episode of Real Estate Pro Tips and Strategies. This is our 6th episode of our podcast. Today's topic is selling your home during the holiday season. So conventional wisdom says people should wait until the spring to get the most from a home sale. We've sort of almost grown up with that. That's the best time to sell your home is springtime. Inventory usually increases to meet buyer demand in the spring when the weather gets warm and daylight savings begins. People get ready for the summer and school changes. This often leads to multiple offer competition breaking out in coveted neighborhoods. A home in a great area with a high buyer demand can sell in a few weeks or in some cases a few days, but that doesn't mean people do not buy homes at other times of the year. Obviously, people buy homes every single day of the year. If you can't wait until the spring to get your house on the market, consider offering your home for sale during the holidays. So, Pete, what is the main benefit to a seller offering their home for sale during the holiday season versus waiting for that springtime?
Well, one of the main benefits is there's less inventory. Homes listed during the holidays can often command a higher sold price when the inventory is limited. If you play your cards right, you might even be able to sell your home quicker than in the spring. One of the reasons is the lack of competing homes for sale during the holidays. It may not seem like the most ideal time, but it does have its benefits. But that's provided that you position your home in just the right way. You need to do your research about supply and demand. You need to stage your home properly, price the home competitively, and if you do all of that, you could receive an attractive purchase offer and be on your way to your next home.
And so what are other benefits of, what is another benefit to a seller to sell during this time?
Well, generally speaking, buyers who are looking during the holiday season are more serious. Anybody shopping for a home around Thanksgiving, Christmas, or the New Year holiday is most likely going to be a serious buyer. They're not going to spend their precious time around the holidays seeing how the other half lives. If a potential buyer is looking at your home for sale in the fall or winter, chances are good that person is serious and is ready to buy. This usually eliminates the uncommitted, licky-loo people from visiting your home for sale.
Would you say that generally it could be a good idea to sell during the holiday season in a market that's generally a strong market like that we have here in the Bay Area, a seller's market? I mean, that obviously helps, right? I mean, in an area or during a time where it's particularly slow, would that be a whole lot harder to sell during the holidays?
Which question would you like me to answer?
Well, I guess I'm wondering if it really depends on what the market is doing general.
Yeah, it does depend. In general, in a suburban market like we're in here in the Bay Area of San Francisco, there's seasonality to our marketplace. It's usually tied to the summer market, summer break in between school years. And the typical rhythm is that it's slow during the winter time. It picks up in the spring. Inventory increases as we go into the summer market. The buyer demand increases to meet it. By the time August arrives, we have the highest level of inventory available during the year. And we have a lot of folks trying to get their homes purchased before the school year starts. And we go into our Indian summer market, which is a good market in the fall. Less inventory, fewer buyers, but all in all, it's kind of relative. As we go into the holiday season, that typically means a week before Thanksgiving and through the middle of January, things typically slow down. People don't like to be for sale and or move during the holidays if they can avoid it, unless there's a reason they have to buy or have to sell. But in a hot market, like the markets that we've had in the past several years, sometimes because of lack of supply during our typical spring and summer markets, those people that wanted to buy then are still looking because there was nothing to buy. And we have a very robust fall and even holiday season market.
Right. Okay. And so how is the real estate market affected by corporate transferee buyers, people who have been transferred for their jobs and who are sort of on a timeline to make a purchase?
The end of the year is typically when people are notified that they need to move because of a job transfer. In most cases, a corporate transferee needs to report at their new position in their new location around the first of the year, which means that they start actively looking in the fall and into the early winter, fourth quarter of each year. And so those buyers are serious because they have to move, regardless of the fact that it's the holiday season. And they're also some of the best qualified buyers. They typically have support from their company that they work for in the way of incentives. They're pre-approved with their lender that they work with through the relocation director. They have benefits for going through the relocation program. And if you should get an offer from a relocation buyer, the odds are extremely high that they're well qualified and they can close escrow quickly. So they are great buyers. Now, they don't represent a large percentage of our buyers in this particular location. There are some areas where there's a lot more corporate transfers going on. But in general, in our area, they represent about 10 to 15% of the volume of buyers during the fourth quarter of the year.
How can a seller take advantage of the warm and cozy vibes during the holiday season? What are some things that a seller can do?
Well, I'd say, dressing up like Santa Claus and have the kids wear elf costumes would be one thing.
Mm-hmm.
No, actually, it's really a great time to be on the market in terms of playing into that joyful season that we all love. And the cool thing is people are in that mode of gathering, of being around their friends and family, hanging out, enjoying parties, get-togethers. I know that COVID is going to impact that to some extent, but in general, homeowners who offer their homes for sale during the winter months can stage their homes to have that cheerful, cozy vibe that appeals to many buyers. Buyers tend to be more emotional during the holidays, and many will make a buying decision based on how they feel about the vibe of the home for sale. One of the traditions of the holiday season, especially around Christmas, is that many homes are adorned with festive lights and decorations that can pull on the heartstrings of a buyer. And so one pro tip, if you are for sale as a seller during the holiday season, before a potential buyer comes to visit your home, turn on the oven onto low, take a drop of vanilla extract, put it on the oven rack, and that will create a really nice aroma that wafts through the entire home when the buyer comes to visit.
That sounds really lovely. I know that everything is important when buyers come through the house, smell being one of them, and there's nothing better than a nice, cozy, welcoming smell. So I could see how that could really help. What if a seller is unsuccessful in selling their home during the holiday season? What can be done about that?
Well, if the seller has time to sell, then they should consider temporarily withdrawing the home for sale for a month. If it doesn't sell during the holiday season, take a break. Come back on the market in February when the supply of homes for sale is low and the buyer demand begins to increase as we go into our spring market.
Is there anything else a seller should consider when listing their home for sale during the holidays? What are some things that need to be thought through?
Be sure to obtain any relevant property inspection reports before offering the home for sale and before the rain and snow season begins. Most inspections are weather dependent, and completing inspections ahead of selling will ensure that your sale transaction will not be delayed due to inclement weather. Some inspections just cannot be performed during the winter weather season. So some of the things to consider would be to complete all of your exterior preparation projects, such as painting, roof repairs, cleaning out the rain gutters, and your drainage lines. You want to button up the exterior before offering the home for sale during the winter time. Also, another tip, when showing the property, you want to make sure you set the furnace thermostat to a comfortable showing temperature. This is super important. You want a prospective buyer to spend time in your home. If it's colder inside than it is outside, most visitors will leave quickly and not have a good experience of your home. And this is also true for vacant homes. I can't tell you how many times I've gone to show a vacant home in the middle of winter, and the owner thinks that, oh, we're not living there, we don't need to leave the heat on. So you go inside and it's like 32 degrees out and it's 40 outside and it's just absolutely freezing, and no one wants to hang out in the house to really take it all in and bond with the home.
Right. That's not good when buyers want to get out of there quickly for whatever reason.
Yeah. And the other thing, you want to make sure that you hire an experienced realtor who knows how to attract serious buyers during the holiday. The realtor should know how to set the stage for your success during the holiday season.
So we're in the year 2020. It's an unusual year.
It is?
For a few reasons, the big one being the COVID pandemic we are in the middle of. How has this pandemic affected home sales in 2020?
Well, the pandemic interrupted our normal real estate sales, seasonal supply and demand dynamic. There was a pause in our sales cycle from mid-March to mid-May that delayed our busy spring market to June. And because of this, we've experienced a very robust fall real estate market with homes selling quickly and many sales with multiple offers and final sold prices way above the asking price. So this trend, along with increased buyer demand for homes with home office space, a place for distance learning, a yard for children, those homes are in high demand, and that trend is likely to continue through the end of this year, creating a really good opportunity for a seller to get a top sales price for their home.
Okay, so lots of good information about selling your home during the holiday season. Lots to think about, and it's definitely a good option for many. We hope you enjoyed our latest episode of our Real Estate Pro Tips and Strategies. We encourage you to share our podcast with anyone you know who's looking to buy or sell a home. Call or text us at 925-297-5335 to reach us with your questions or any referrals. You can find more pro tips and strategies at 5starrealestateteam.podbean.com. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for this podcast. We hope you enjoy our real estate pro tips and strategies, and we encourage you to share our podcast with anyone you know who is looking to buy or sell a home. Be sure to like and subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to ring the bell next to the subscribe button so you won't miss a single episode. Thank you to our producer, Sam Lubman with Painless Podcasts, for making this podcast happen. I'm Leslie Whitney with Pete Sabine, and we are the 5-Star Real Estate Team.
Join us for our next episode of Real Estate Pro Tips and Strategies. Call or text 925-297-5335 to reach us with your questions and referrals, or send an email to info@5starrealestatepro.com.